Well, hello there, kids, reporting live from your fruit cellar.
Oh.
It's your absolute favorite horror movie review podcast in all the known multiverse and beyond. Why, it's dead and lovely, here with a still slightly Flemish, sexily voiced Uncle Ben.
Are you a Flemish painter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Dutch master,
One of the
actually.
Dutch masters,
yeah,
all
exactly.
right.
I get around. I do work.
I get around.
I heard a Red Hot Chili Peppers cover of that was like weirdly accurate and good.
Oh,
It's
okay.
live, no less. It's on a live album.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Huh. Well, I do like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I'm a fan. I'm all right with them.
You're not a huge fan of the Beach Boys, though.
I respect them immortally, but they make me so sad.
They depress.
They give me a great sad.
They really captured the time of Charlie Manson.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Who am I talking to?
It's me, Hollywood Steve.
It's you, Hollywood
Ooh.
Steve. Got it, man. Reporting in straight from the hills of Hollywood.
Yep.
By ways of Dollywood.
All right, I'm up here in the hills of Hollywood, Ben, and what I'm seeing is just some lights down below. There's not really... I mean, there's some nice houses nearby, and
yes.
the Hollywood sign. Oh no. Oh, I'm being eaten by coyotes.
Oh, no.
All right,
Oh,
bye.
no.
Love you.
That was Hollywood Steve reporting in with the latest reports. How you been doing this week, Stu?
I've been having a good week, but when you asked me earlier what I've been doing, apparently nothing. I
Whole
can't
lot
think
of
of a damn thing I've been doing.
You working hard or hardly working?
I've been working hard. That is true. I've been working. I just haven't done anything. It's up hanging out with the wife, watch Game of Thrones. Which, by this point, you've either listened to our Game of Thrones mini-sode or
you're not cool.
You're not interested.
Yeah.
I really just been working on some stuff, trying to get some things figured out. Trying to figure out a video series I want to do that is basically my class on the undead that I did at UT.
Ooh. I think that sounds great.
Without assignments.
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to assign anybody on YouTube to do something.
Then the next video.
I'm going to do that. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, and then expect it too. If somebody comments on the next video, I'll be like, "Where's that fucking paper?"
Yeah, exactly. You fucking fail, Monkey Tits 36.
That guy is always trolling.
Always just causing problems. Monkey Tits. He's no good, man. He's no good. That would be awesome. I would totally watch that.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. My wife and I are currently switching offices. Her office is an actual room, and mine is more of an open space near the refrigerator.
Ooh, I like it already.
But she actually doesn't like her office, and it's got carpet, it's got good like sound for recording, and there's more space and stuff. So I figured, why not? I've already got it all written. It'll take a little bit to go back and remember like all the stuff that I haven't gone over in years.
Yeah.
But it'll also be a little bit of a thing to turn it into something that is supposed to be entertaining. Like, I am an entertaining teacher. I always was. But, like, the way my lessons would be written was, like, information.
Yeah.
And, I would just be entertaining in between. But when you're sitting and making a video, you gotta have to know what you're gonna be saying.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise,
suppose.
it can go, especially if you're trying to pretend like you know what you're talking about. People don't care for meandering and tangents. So,
I mean, we could spin that a couple different ways. I could be on there as, like, your hype man. Like, I could just jump out from behind you every now and then.
Damn!
Get him, Steve.
Get him! I actually love that.
Yeah, just be the flavor of the operation.
I could just do it like just straight information. Then you come in. That's the information, y'all.
What you know about eating brains, motherfucker?
Boom!
Maybe it's that kind of thing. Yo, I'm chilling with my homeboy Romero. Yeah.
Maybe you heard.
Yeah, exactly like that. Or, I mean, we could also turn it into something else where, maybe I'm like, I'm the young, impressionable, really sexy freshman student, and you're a teacher who's like kind of an authoritarian.
Yeah, that's me totally.
Yeah, with a firm hand.
I did kick a kid out of class once.
Yeah,
and openly admitted that I was a dick to the class after doing it.
What was he doing that got him kicked out? Like,
we were about to take a quiz and he wouldn't shut his laptop.
Oh.
And he kept telling me like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take it on my laptop," and I was like, "Motherfucker, no, you're not."
Nuh-uh.
Anyway.
Right on, man.
Like, all he had to do is shut his laptop. The quiz wasn't even worth anything, really. Whatever. Kids.
What a
discipline.
dickhead. You been watching anything lately, Steve?
Yeah, I've been watching a few things. I watched a little movie on Shudder called You Might Be the Killer.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just getting prepared.
That's news to me.
Yeah, it's a 2018 camp slasher.
I love it already.
Yeah, it's got Allison Hannigan.
She's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's got the guy who played the stoner dude in The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, I love him too.
He's the main character. Yeah, he's great.
Shit, how have I not seen this?
I don't know. It's on Shudder. It's only like an hour 20 or something. It's really good. Like,
it sounds like what a camp slasher
surprised.
should be.
Exactly. It's exactly. That was the thing watching it. It kind of reminded me a little of Final Girls because it's like self-aware.
Okay.
But it's got its own thing going on. But it definitely like it really hit all the good tropes of a camp slasher and did it in a fun way.
Damn.
So
has some good kills in it?
Yes, it does.
It ain't a camp slasher without some good old blood and guts in there.
Yeah, it's got some cool stuff, man. And because like again, you know, next week we start Camp Dead Lovely.
That we do. Every June we check in.
And last year I claimed to have seen every camp slasher, and this year coming around I was like, have I seen them all? And that one was there, and I was like, fuck it, sit down and watch it. Immediately got hooked. It was automatically like already fun when it started.
I'm very on board with this.
So yeah, check it out. I recommend it.
Right on. I got to check that out, man.
I also watched a couple movies by Sam Raimi.
Oh yeah, maybe just to get ready for today's movie.
Well, yeah, like I watched today's movie, and I watched Army of Darkness just for fun. It's the perfect follow up to this movie.
Right on.
But then I was like, man, I want to see some other Raimi fun movies, and I was like, oh right, Spider-Man. I haven't seen those in forever.
I have not seen those probably since they came out like on DVD.
Wow.
I mean, it's been a long time. Like I was still a teenager when I saw those.
Yeah.
I recall honestly not liking them is the thing.
Yeah, it turns out people are divided on these movies, and I didn't know that because I really like the first two. The third one is a legit bad movie.
I never saw it. I heard it was just horrible.
It is. It's real bad. The first one is a little more campy than maybe people would want now, having had the Marvel movies and looking back on it. But at the time, it was perfectly campy. It was so much like the cartoon and stuff, and so much like the comic book that it was fine.
Well, I might have been looking for something different out of it. Like, because to me, whenever I watched Homecoming, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted out of a Spider-Man movie. So maybe it's that kind of thing where if my expectation wasn't...
It is the major difference of the high school Spider-Man and the college Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
High school Peter Parker has much more relatable problems.
Right.
Though, I mean, his problems are the same. He's struggling with money. He's, in love with MJ, etc., blah, blah, blah. And the Aunt May in that is much more accurate to the comics.
Oh, yeah.
I much prefer Marissa Tomei.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously so.
The Aunt May in that, she's so perfect. And like, she does the Aunt May thing where she gets involved. Like, at one point, she swats Norman Osborn's hand away from food or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's Aunt May
Old
in the comics.
stuff.
Yeah, that's Aunt May. That's how she is. She's like hanging off of something, holding an umbrella. That's the Aunt May we know.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember liking a lot of the casting, like the guy that played Doc Ock.
Oh, yeah. Alfred Molina,
thank you. Yeah, like he was great. A perfect Dr. Octopus.
Spider-Man 2 is, I think, legit. Like, before the MCU existed, was maybe top 3 superhero movies.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That
for
good?
Me, yes. Because none of the Superman movies, even though they're like groundbreaking and whatnot, none of them to me reach.
They don't hold up.
Top level. And then Tim Burton's. I like Jack Nicholson and Batman, but I think Batman Returns is a better movie than the original, like the first Batman. I just think Batman Returns had much more of the clearly Burton look to it.
Sure.
And Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito were fucking awesome.
Absolutely
Not that Jack
incredible.
Nicholson wasn't, but.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I don't know, and again, I'm saying pre-MCU.
Right,
I would say X-Men 2.
Yeah, X2 is really good. That's one with Nightcrawler and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, X2 is good.
It's the one where, the Phoenix is introduced right at the end.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right at the end. And it's like, oh my God, you're so excited for the next one. And then they shit the bed.
Oh, man. They take a dump all over it. I'm not thinking this new Dark Phoenix is going to be any good either, honestly.
No, but... I wish they would use some of these actors in the MCU.
God, I know, man.
Because, I think that Sophie Turner is good as Jean Grey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really love James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as
Magneto
Professor
and X.
Xavier Magneto.
Hell yes, man.
I would love to see them get to keep doing that. But
Oh God, me too.
I think they're just going to recast everybody probably.
In Spider-Man 2, did it have Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin?
Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1.
Yes.
Wait, did it have Doc Ock and Green Goblin?
No, that's in Spider-Man 2.
Doc Ock is in 2.
Uh-huh.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was in the first one.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Again, it's been forever since I've seen him.
The only issue I have with Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin is that they put a mask on him. When he could have just had his face and
Yeah,
it's like,
Willem
that's the
Dafoe's
Green
face
Goblin.
is fucked up enough as it is.
But he's great in it. He's like way over the top. Like he had to be some inspiration for the Heath Ledger's Joker.
Really?
Because he's so nihilistic and like sociopathic that like it's way different than any of the villains you see in most of the other movies up to this point. All of the other villains have been, either over the top, ridiculous, or like, intentionally campy, or just people you weren't really afraid of.
I need to go back and watch them, dude.
Yeah, go check them out. I don't know that like you'll love them.
Yeah,
but you might appreciate them a bit more.
What I feel like probably hasn't changed. My biggest problem with him was like I really didn't like Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. I think he's creepy.
That's what Emily said. She didn't like
he's
it.
creepy.
So, I liked him just fine. Andrew Garfield was also fine. Those movies just weren't good.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They were not good at all.
I don't think I ever even saw the one that has like
Amazing Spider-Man 2, the one with Rhino and
right. Yeah,
yeah
I never saw it. I don't think I ever
either.
saw the one. Wasn't there one with Sandman in it?
3. That's Spider-Man 3. Yeah,
I haven't watched that
that
one.
one's terrible. That
And the
one
one
has
with
Venom and Sandman and Green Goblin.
Jamie Foxx. Which one is that?
That's part Amazing Spider-Man Part 2.
Yeah, I never saw that one either.
Yeah.
Wow, I missed a bunch of them.
Yeah, you didn't miss a lot.
I didn't really miss
honestly, yeah. Because especially now that we have like perfect Spider-Man, it's like, yeah,
maybe not.
We're fine just watching new Spider-Man.
Did you watch any other Raimi stuff like Drag Me to Hell?
I was gonna maybe watch actually A Simple Plan or something. I wanted to watch some of his non like camp work.
Okay.
Because Drag Me to Hell's still a bit campy.
Oh, very
but
much
I do
so.
love that movie. It's great.
I remember liking it, but there's a lot of people that really hate that movie.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hate it. But I don't know. I remember enjoying it whenever I saw it. I've only seen it one time, a long time ago.
I had a fun time watching it, but it's Raimi camp though. It like any of his horror movies are still a bit funny. Like,
yeah,
they're even Evil Dead, which is
they tried to make a horror movie.
To this is much more of a horror movie, but it's still pretty funny. I mean, Bruce Campbell's always just funny, and Sam Raimi honestly just wants to throw that in there. Like he's not gonna stop himself. Like he's gonna put it in there. But yeah, Drag Me to Hell. Maybe that's because it was way past that time. I guess it was the time because Drag Me to Hell came out in like 2005 or 6, right? And that was the time when it was like all like hostile and torture porn and stuff. And that movie is more just like, I mean, it's serious. It's a curse, gypsy curse.
Yeah.
But it's also like, there's a lot of funny moments to it.
Is Naomi Watts in it? Is she the main character?
No, isn't it? Fuck, I don't remember who
can't
Drag Me to Hell.
It's some blonde lady, and in my head I was like, for some reason I was thinking it was Naomi Watts. Maybe I was thinking of her in The Ring or something though.
Oh yeah,
could be that. You know, while you research that, Steve, I'm gonna pour us a cold
How
one.
about you pour us a cold beer?
I need to get me a cold one into me. I'm gonna serve you up.
Allison Lohman.
Allison Lohman. Not ringing a bell.
No.
I'm gonna pour us up one here that we procured from the Merchants of Beer in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
This is from Bearded Iris, which is an amazing brewery out of old Nashville, Tennessee. We have had many of their beers here on the show. And this is one of theirs that I hadn't had before until Kate brought it home this week. She's like, yeah, I thought you'd like this. It's called Wavelength. It is their double IPA with Vic's Secret, Citra, and El Dorado hops.
All right.
It's an 8.3%er.
Damn.
It's a big old bear.
All right.
And I do declare, and I hope I'm not.
I do declare.
Ooh,
I'm getting the vapors.
I'll need some smelling salts to revive me after this very strong ale. I think that this is actually better than the Bearded Iris Homestyle.
Oh, wow.
Which is the one that everybody like worships and tries to get. And don't get me wrong, Bearded Iris Homestyle is great. But you know how with the Homestyle, it almost has so much of that like spicy, peppery, grapefruit peely kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of like all you can taste for a few seconds after you have a sip. This has a lot less of that.
Okay.
So you can just really enjoy the flavor of everything that's there. And as you can see, it looks like I just poured us 2 glasses of orange juice.
She's
thick. It almost looks like a mimosa made of chunky
that's
orange
what I was
juice.
going to say, mimosa. This looks like a mimosa.
It's got all that funky kind of stuff that the homestyle does. Oh, dude. But it's so hoppy and so juicy and so good. I hope that you like it because I'm absolutely addicted to it. It's one of those that I'm like, yeah, I have to just have this at home all the time now. What's that do to you?
Oh, man.
Isn't that good? It's like fucked up how good it is.
At first, it's like citrusy and just smooth. But then there's like a lot of fruit flavor on it.
Uh-huh. And see what I mean? It's not as like spicy as the homestyle is. And I don't mean spicy like hot. I just mean that
there's a little
thing.
bit of tingle on the tongue, but not that hardcore.
And it's so smooth going down and stuff too. It's so smooth and creamy, but it doesn't have that lactosey kind of flavor going on to it either.
Wow.
You know?
It's so thick too.
Yeah.
Like just very little light penetrating.
It's also unbelievable that, I mean, that is an 8.3% beer. Whew. And there is no hint of alcohol in it whatsoever.
No, that just tastes like a delicious, juicy beverage.
Yeah. I like it better than the homestyle.
Yeah, I would say that is probably better.
It's kind of just like beats your palate up less.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Huge fan of that stuff.
All right. Way to go.
I had myself a very busy weekend. It was Rhythm and Bloom's Music Festival here in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, you were playing music to make the trees bloom.
I was doing it. Otherwise, it's our sacred fertility ritual, and if we don't do it, the Bradford pear trees, they won't go into blossom.
And nobody will smell cum.
Yeah, we have to.
Fuck a Bradford pear. We've said it before. We'll say it again.
We maintain our position. Those trees are a menace to society, and they must be stopped.
And they will be.
They must be stopped. So we played 4 shows in 2 days.
Wow.
Which was kind of exhausting.
I bet.
And then some of it was like outdoor too, and it's been hot lately.
It has.
But it was awesome. Got to play with, obviously that Andy Wood trio, the extended Andy Wood band featuring the guys from the Hit Points.
Okay.
Which I think I mentioned on the show, the Hit Points are this amazing modern bluegrass group that does video game covers.
Yeah, you have talked about them
my
before.
God, they're so good. So we played with those guys on a gig. We played a couple of Kennedy Wood Band shows as our Southern rock band and stuff. So fun getting to play with so many amazing players. It was great. A couple of them were at Blue and Botanicals downtown, which is, I guess, kind of downtown Knoxville's first, like, kind of legit CBD dispensary kind of place.
Oh, okay.
And it's really surreal because when you go in there, I mean, they have... Well, okay, for those of you guys that are listening, weed is not legal in Tennessee. CBD is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but you can't get stuff with THC in it here. Because when a plant does that, it's breaking the law.
Right.
And you can't have it.
CBD, fine. THC, no sir.
Yeah, that plant produced that other chemical, you can't have it.
How dare you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a CBD place, but it's weird because they have like bud and stuff in there, and they have a huge grow room. So you walk into a business in downtown Knoxville, and there's like fucking pot trees in it. I mean, they're huge, but it's not THC bearing. It's just surreal. I know that people in other parts of the country are like, yeah, and you get your card and you get your weed and you go home. In Tennessee, this is like, what planet am I on?
People in Colorado are like, card? Why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's more like it. But basically, I think what their plan is they're just kind of going to already have, their foot on first base for whenever we do finally legalize it.
Yes.
And they'll be able to rock it. Really good people, too. Go in and visit them sometime.
Like, simultaneously, while across the country abortion is being just totally eliminated, like, Denver just decriminalized mushrooms, and the entire state of California is heading that way as well. Like,
yeah. Decriminalizing mushrooms.
Well, they should. That it works for PTSD. I was going to say PhD. It works for PTSD. Works for
some people
depression,
get a PTSD from getting their PhD.
That's true. Yeah. Honestly, I still have nightmares where I have a class that I haven't gone to all semester.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, what do I do now? Like,
I had those dreams when I was in like community college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a good thing, but it's like you said, it's weird that. It's very, very possible that in some areas of the South, you'll be able to, like, go buy weed.
Yeah, but not get an abortion.
Not get an abortion.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, my buddy John said, I can't claim this is my words. These are his. He really fucking nailed it. When has Alabama, throughout history, ever been on the correct side of any social rights issues?
Never.
Ever.
They have never been.
When has Alabama ever been right?
Just doesn't happen.
I've been to some cool places in Alabama. I know some great people from Alabama. Mm-hmm. But y'all politicians, generally, y'all be making some bad fucking movies.
There was a fella named Forrest Gump. You may have remember him. He was really good at ping pong.
Yes, very, very good.
Showed Lyndon B. Johnson his ass.
Enjoyed running. He had to pee.
He did have to pee. That's true. He did it. He also invented "Have a Nice Day."
Okay, yeah. So we had ourselves a extremely busy weekend playing shows and stuff. So by the time Sunday rolled around, I was just like, you know what? We're just gonna lay around and be bums and watch movies all day leading up to the Thrones finale. Yeah. So
good call.
We watched motherfucking Roadhouse. With Patrick Swayze. Of course, I'm crazy about Swayze.
Starring Swayze. Starring what's his name?
That guy, Sam Neill.
Sam Neill? No, not Sam Neill.
Not Sam Neill. Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Cowboy.
What if Sam Neill had been in it?
I'd be okay.
And he
with
was
that.
his character from Jurassic Park, but he was only interested in roundhouses.
Ooh.
So whenever Swayze would pull off a roundhouse, he'd be like, "Was that a real roundhouse?
You have a roundhouse?" How did you do it? So we watched that, and Kate and I were both under the impression that we had seen it before.
But you both hadn't.
I think that we both had not seen it before.
That's insane.
I think it's that kind of thing when we were kids, we both probably watched like half an hour of it on a Saturday afternoon on TBS.
Oh, yeah. TBS used to play Roadhouse like every other show. It was like a Braves game, and then at 10:35, Roadhouse would start, and then Mama's Family reruns.
Right. And then Smokey and the Bandit. Then start over.
Boy, when we get home, I'm going to slap your mama.
I've still never seen Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, well, you're not missing anything. Well, there's some spousal abuse threats, so you know where it's going.
Caliente.
Yep.
We had not watched Roadhouse, and it is like a 20 out of 10. It is unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
That movie is real.
Movie. I know.
It's one of those that I'm watching this and I'm like, how the fuck did this get funded?
They covered it on How Did This Get Made.
Did they really?
And they all loved it. So
yeah,
it's one of those rare most people hate those episodes of How Did This Get Made where they actually love the movie, but the Roadhouse is just, it's insane. And you don't know why anyone would have funded it except for cocaine. And that is why.
Oh, all the cocaine. All the fucking blow is being done.
It's a fun damn time.
It really puts me in the same state of mind as when I watch one of my perennial favorites, The Wraith. It is a very similar level of just like, who wrote this? Who wrote this dialogue? Who agreed to be in this? I'm just amazed that it exists, and that's why I enjoy it so much. He rips a feller's throat out.
He really does. Just rips his throat out like it's a weird kung fu movie all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where's that come from in that movie? It's just...
And that's preceded by that guy telling him, I used to fuck dudes like you in prison.
Yep. Used to fuck dudes like you in prison. Oh, yeah? No throat for you. How about
that? It's amazing. Yeah. I loved every minute of it. I will watch it infinity more times.
Infinity more times.
I think you were watching a big old Dead and Lovely group chat the other night too, while I was rocking and rolling, huh?
We had a good group chat the other night that I had a lot of fun with. It was, I don't know who all was there. Alan Evans, Dave Bechet, the Latours, Ryan Garnes.
The whole crew.
RDM, a bunch of people.
Bunch of busters.
Yeah, it was real fun. And at one point, our ratings came up.
Oh, I'm sure that they just have a perfect record of accuracy and, you know.
John Latour has he made a spreadsheet.
That's amazing.
Each of our ratings for each of the movies. And I'm so glad he did it. Because looking back on it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, we're all over the place. Our baseline score seems to be about a 7.5.
So we just generally like movies.
Yeah, I would say that is slightly adjusted by the fact that we choose almost all of our titles.
Right.
And we generally like to choose a movie we like.
Yeah.
Though sometimes we choose movies we've never seen and end up not liking them at all or whatever. But so that adjusted a little bit, but also we're way nice to these movies.
Yeah. I mean, I love horror flicks, dude. It's like I've said it before, man. Horror flicks are pizza. It's like, even when it's a frozen pizza, you're like, cool, man, pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fine with it.
So I don't know how this got me going that way, but I ended up on Uwe Boll's Letterboxd.
Now, who's a Uwe Boll? That just sounds like a bunch of noises. You don't know the
director of Blood Rain?
Blood Rain.
In the Name of the King.
Not ringing a bell.
Oh, man. Wow. Rampage, Ben?
Oh, like he
No, not that one.
Oh, not that Rampage.
Yeah, not the one with the CGI monsters and The Rock. No.
Which I heard was actually decent. It was okay.
Maybe. It's got The Rock in it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fine.
No, Uwe Boll is a director of some 32 projects that are all terrible.
Does he have anything based on video games?
He has a lot based on video games.
Those are usually
none
terrible.
Of them are based on the video game. It's just the title.
In name only.
Yeah. Anyway, Uwe Boll, also famous for challenging a critic of one of his movies to a boxing match.
Oh, game of fisticuffs.
Yeah. I just wanted to read you some of his reviews. I'll start with Grown Ups 2.
Okay, so this is like on his page where he himself, as a filmmaker, reviews other people's movies.
Yes.
This sounds like a dickhead move.
Uh-huh. Grown Ups 2. 4 stars.
4 stars for Grown Ups 2. Okay.
Better than the first. Maybe we wait for part 3, he says.
Maybe. Maybe we don't. Maybe we force him to make it.
I Know Jake Gyllenhaal Is Going to Fuck My Girlfriend, which is a movie I didn't know existed. That wasn't a sentence I was just saying.
Okay, yeah.
It's a movie. Half a star he gave it. Jake Gyllenhaal will do nothing of the sort, or he will know the ultimate pain. I have such sights to show you.
A Hellraiser quote?
Yep.
What?
He hasn't reviewed Hellraiser yet. I can't wait.
He will do nothing of the sort.
The Karate Kid Part 3. 3 stars.
Okay. Well, one for each of the trilogy.
Sure. Terry reminds me of me. Fact. I am cool and Mr. Miyagi lame.
That's his review? What?
Beetleborgs Metallics the movie. From 1997. We all know. 4 stars.
Beetleborgs. Okay.
Then new villains came along and took away the powers. Beetleborgs were in a fix, so they became metallics. Flabber is so cool. The Hillhurst monsters are so cool. And Crazy Dinosaur Woman with the green and Joe Piscopo Triceratops make this show riddling.
I'm sorry, is he a 12-year-old that has been given crack?
Yes, I think so.
That explains
Actually, he's
it all
German,
perfectly.
though. Maybe that's just it. He's German.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all like that. Let's ask our friend Jan next time we see him.
Good point.
Ghostbusters, the original.
An immortal classic.
Immortal classic.
Yeah.
2 stars.
A 2.
It was okay, I guess.
What the fuck?
Hold on. Ghostbusters remake. Directly after he reviewed the Ghostbusters remake. Half a star. Paul Feig is a monster.
He's a monster.
What? So you don't care for the original movie, but the remake you find monstrous.
What in
now,
the fuck?
Here's my favorite part about his reviews, Ben. And I abjure thee. Go to letterboxd.com, look up Uwe Boll's reviews, and just go through them.
Sounds like hours of entertainment for the whole family.
It really is. Alone in the Dark. You know who directed Alone in the Dark, Ben? There's a German guy. Last name Boll, I think.
Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll, yeah. Well, Uwe Boll says about Uwe Boll's movie, 5 stars.
Shocking.
The terror. The monster in the stomach got fried, so Christian Slater is safe. But he want to protect the world from the other belly creatures who will come out and hurt the world.
What?
Tara Reid too busy having a cocktail, and Steven Dorff too busy being an asshole. Christian Slater is cool, though he do it on his own in this heavy metal explosion of a film. Buy, do not rent.
These reviews remind me of what I always think, that whenever you see like a really haggard bum on the street, but he has a cell phone.
Yep.
I imagine he's writing reviews like this.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Go check them out.
Holy shit.
There are so many brilliant ones in there that I just don't want to ruin for you. Just go check it out.
Experience the magic firsthand.
Experience yourself. He just started doing this in like the end of April, and he has like 80 something reviews. He does like 4 a day. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The man has much respect for his own movies, and will tell you in a certain movie why he doesn't like the movie because the actor wouldn't be in his movie or something. And it's like, cool.
Is he a real person?
He's a real person who made all those movies basically to make money off the German government because there were tax incentives, plus failing actually ended up making him more money than succeeding.
You talked about this guy on the Mother episode.
Yes.
Because we were talking about the cinema score Fs.
Uh-huh.
And he had a bunch on there.
Yes, he does.
Wow. So it's that fucking guy.
It's that fucking guy.
Whenever you were reading those reviews, I was thinking these must have been like unearthed from like a GeoCities site before people knew how to type on the internet.
He is today probably writing one up right now.
What is the matter with him?
What's the matter with you?
Like, I'm kind of getting really fascinated by this guy.
Exactly. That's the thing about him is like, everybody's just like, he can't be real, right? Like so many of those reviews are about the boobs in the movie. Like,
really?
Yeah, it'll just be like, great boobs. The boobs were really good.
What if it turns out, though, that actually he's a brilliant and amazing film critic?
Yeah.
But his handle on English and the English language isn't that great, so he's like dictating him to somebody who's
to a
like...
child.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or it's just somebody that hates his fucking guts.
Who's
like, oh, yeah, I am translating these word for word. Yes, it's perfect. And then he puts up,
I like the boobie.
The boobie were good. The belly monster. And he's thinking, I am so funny for doing this.
He was describing his own movie, and it was like, have you even seen that movie? The description of the movie is so vague. Belly monsters and Steven Dorff's an asshole. Is he saying Steven Dorff is an asshole, or the character played by Steven Dorff is an asshole?
I'm going to go with yes. Just a yes. A flat yes.
That guy's taking his freedom back, that Steven Dorff.
Is that so?
Yeah. You don't remember those commercials for the blue e-cig?
No. Let's take our freedom back.
It was him in black and white on the beach.
Oh, yeah. Smoking an e-cig?
Smoking an e-cig.
Dude.
Sounding like, he probably threw that to the side and smoked half a pack right afterwards.
Yeah, probably so.
Hey, Steven Dorff. Let's take our freedom back. Remember when you used to be able to smoke in a baby's goddamn face?
Those were the days.
Go into a nursery and shit all over a baby. Nobody cared.
We had our freedom back then.
I don't know how he talked like that.
That's how you get. That's how you get a voice that sounds like mine right
there
now.
There you
go. That's great stuff. Yeah, I'll have to be sure to go check those out, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks for the little pearls of entertainment you're dropping on me here.
I'm saying our ratings are probably a little bit better than his.
Yeah. Without a doubt. No diggity, man. No diggity. Now, Steve, the subject of today's show is none other than one Evil Dead 2. And of course, we've done the original Evil Dead on episode, I don't know, it's one of the earlier
15
ones.
15 or something.
Yeah, I think it was an earlier one there. And Evil Dead is a movie that's very special to us as people that grew up in or around the town where it was filmed, Morristown, Tennessee.
Right up the road, the Evil Dead, where the Evil Dead cabin used to be.
Right. A piece of local legend and history. So Evil Dead has always been a near and dear franchise to us. So I was excited to cover part 2 because it is just a delight. And one of my favorite things about this movie is that it really features some great, menacing, intense tree action.
It does.
I mean, I love it.
Them trees.
I love it. Anytime I'm watching a movie and I see a dryadic menace strike down upon someone with fury and vengeance, nothing really gets better to me than that, Steve.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, Steve, I got to tell you, I'm starting to run a little bit low on movies with some great intense tree attack action.
Oh, no.
I was really hoping that maybe for the Preview Palace section here,
welcome to the Preview Palace.
Maybe there's some other movies you could recommend to me that I should check out that have some great intense tree violence.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to know about these
recommend?
badass trees ready to throw hands? Well, Ben, let me tell you that the tree that immediately came to mind when I thought of this, outside of the Evil Dead, because Evil Dead has evil trees in the first one and the second one.
They be raping. They all kinds of awful.
I'm glad they cut that
They
for
did
the
cut
second
that,
one. Yeah. Poltergeist.
Oh, Poltergeist.
The Poltergeist
that's
tree
right.
scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yes, that is an intense and intimidating oaken villain.
And I remember we played in the woods a lot, and we had seen both of the Evil Deads and Poltergeist, and we would like make up stories. Like we had particular trees that were like, that tree's a bad tree. You stay
Dead
away
man's
from
tree.
Yeah. And Poltergeist really was the one that just made me afraid. Like, I don't know why. I'm no longer afraid of trees, but as a kid, like, they're just so big, you know?
Right,
like,
yeah, and they're so old.
Yeah, like craggly and shit. They look like monsters, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I've told this on the podcast once before, but I used to have a tree right outside my window in my childhood home that was struck by lightning and got all fucked up and deformed and looked very, very, very much like the tree in Poltergeist.
Wow.
Of course, I saw Poltergeist for the first time. Yeah, later. But if I'd have seen it as a kid, it would have made me terrified that tree was just
in your own bedroom,
swallow me up. Because especially during like lightning storms and stuff like that, that thing would look fucked up. It looked exactly like the tree in Poltergeist.
In Poltergeist, the lightning storm happening in Poltergeist. Because that was it. It was like, because the light could hit it just right, or like any tree, like
you'd look weird. It's like, is there a face in that?
Yeah,
or
is that a person? Or like, because the
dude.
branches can look like a person sitting up there. Yeah, it's, I don't know. That Poltergeist one really messed with me.
Yeah, that's some great tree on man action right there.
But the other one that really messed with me as a kid, and they weren't the worst part of this movie, but it really messed with me, was, how would you like it if somebody picked an apple off of you?
Ooh.
The Wizard of Oz.
A Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I've always found that movie, like, pretty disturbing,
honestly. It is disturbing.
Those monkeys are the worst.
That's the worst part of the movie.
No me gusta. No me gusta, those things right there.
No.
But yeah, those trees in that. And of course, then there's that whole, like, legend that you can see a dude, like, hang himself from one of the trees.
Yeah.
Have you watched for that?
I have. Apparently, it's just a shadow. And
but it's fun to use your imagination.
It is a fun story,
Yeah, and think you just watched someone die. It's so fun.
But yeah, the trees in that, their voices were one of the things. Because, like, moving trees was already scary, but their voices are like, how would you like it if somebody took an apple out of you? It's like a serial killer in a slasher movie or something.
Pretty fucking aggressive trees.
Yeah.
Not a laid back.
And then they were throwing the apples any damn way.
Oh, man.
So it's like, well, what do you care that we picked the apple? Or are you just being a jerk?
I think they were just some mean trees, Steve. Some mean old trees. What else you got?
All right. This one, the trees aren't scary.
Okay.
But what they do, obviously, is frightening. The trees from The Happening.
I have never seen The Happening.
Well, the trees start killing people by emitting some sort of weird pheromone or something.
Yes.
That's
That's not good.
It makes people kill themselves. It's not a good movie.
I've heard it's
but
the
that
worst.
Is frightening.
I suppose so, yes.
Like if there were a plant that would induce suicide.
I've been around some ragweed in Tennessee around April.
That'll make you want to kill yourself.
That about makes me want to cure myself, too.
No, I get it.
Right on. Yeah, I've heard that's just a big old pile of garbage.
The Happening. No recommendation. But still, killer tree.
Yeah, right on.
Better killer tree, though. Harry Potter. The
Whomping Willow. That's a good one I should go to every time I need to see a tree whomp on a car or a child.
Yeah.
It's always whomping them kids.
We'll be talking more about the Whomping Willow in July when we cover HP and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I guess so. Yeah. As usual, we review a Harry Potter movie on Harry's birthday.
Is that right?
The week of-ish.
Or something, yeah.
Isn't it in July?
Is it? I think so, yeah, because it was before it was before school started back for sure. Like July something, for sure.
I think that's why we started doing it that way anyway.
Probably.
Yeah, probably something like that. And we're going to talk about in the third one how you have no idea why the Whomping Willow exists.
No.
Or the Shrieking Shack. Or really just about anything.
I still do not understand. I mean, I get that the Whomping Willow is a rare magical, I guess, plant.
Yeah.
But why did they have to put it on the grounds of a school where children are?
To guide the entrance to the tunnel that leads to the Shrieking Shack. So that way Lupin could go change and not hurt nobody.
Oh, right. That is why they fucking did it.
Yeah. But they don't explain it in the fucking movie at all.
Oh, right. Yeah. I haven't read the books in a while. That is exactly why they did it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, wouldn't that raise so many more questions?
Oh, I should think so.
Like with the parents, so... I noticed that the werewolf problem's fixed, but Now we got a tree knocking our children to the ground.
It's beating them senseless. It destroyed the windshield and hood of a car. I don't think it's something children should be around exactly. There's all kinds of safety problems at Hogwarts, dude. Like, they didn't even build like a perimeter fence around that tree.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just like, well, let them walk up to it and find out what the fuck happens. It's called the Whomping Willow, idiot wizard kid. What do you think happens? You know?
They also play Quidditch.
Very
more dangerous
very
than football,
game.
for sure. Then I got one more.
I gotta have something to scratch my tree itch, Steve.
Well, why don't you step on into Fangorn Forest, bitch?
What? What am I gonna do? Hang out with Treebeard or something?
What?
Dude.
He'll take down Saruman. They'll end the Uruk-hai as they run into the forest.
They sure will. They ain't taking
Unless
shit
you
off
haven't
nobody.
seen the extended editions, then you don't know that happens.
Then you don't know what being a real person is if you've not seen the extended ones. God, I love those so much, man.
So great. And the Ents, I mean, they
I
still
want to
look
hang
great.
with them.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hang. Dude, they are laid back.
They totally are.
They taking their
You
time.
think they would
They're in
freak
a
out
hurry
if they
for
saw
nothing.
you smoking weed, though? Like, if you're...
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
knew that weed. You are no friend of the forest.
But then you'd be like a mile away by the time they finish that sentence.
Yeah.
You are no
But then they'd
friend.
take 3 steps and be behind you.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's a real tough one. Yeah.
They can do that. Yeah, that is some solid tree man action.
There's
right
one
there.
more I would say.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
Not necessarily just the trees, but that tree line in The Witch. That's fucking ominous.
Yes,
That's
dude.
that's where the inspiration for these different scary trees come from, is looking into a forest and it's like, windy or whatever, and you see the movement and it's like just eerie to see something that large move.
Speaking of The Witch, we've had a couple of those stills and stuff released from his next movie.
Oh yeah, the Lighthouse.
David Eggers. Yeah,
Robert Eggers.
David Eggers.
David Eggers is the author.
Yeah.
He wrote, didn't he write the amazing piece of incredible brilliance or something like that? I don't remember. Or is that some other Eggers?
I don't know.
Eggers
I really don't
is
know.
all over his...
They're all over the place. But the watch... Oh, no, it's not the Watchtower. Sorry, the Lighthouse.
Right.
I cannot wait.
It looks great. Willem Dafoe. And the new Batman.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, man.
I'm fine with it. Do you remember how people felt about Heath Ledger being the Joker?
Yeah, I didn't believe in that either.
Yeah.
Whenever they announced that.
I think he looks and would play...
What's the name? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Thank you.
But I was saying, I think he played Nightwing. Dick Grayson. I think he could play that part really well.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's just he's so lithe. I don't
That's
know
the
how
thing.
he's going to be Batman unless he's Batman beyond Batman.
Right. Who's like young and skinny, right? And is like a protege of
Maybe
Bruce
that is
Wayne.
what they're going to do, but...
I mean, if they did that, I saw somebody post up some pictures of like what, Michael Keaton looks like now.
Yeah.
And what Robert Pattinson looks like now.
Yeah.
And then the Batman Beyond, old Bruce Wayne and young...
that would be amazing.
I would be very okay
Yeah.
with that. That would be super sick with me. I just can't really picture him as being Batman or Bruce Wayne. I don't know. I can't see it, man.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne is supposed to be a little boisterous sort of playboy.
Yeah.
And we've never seen Robert Pattinson play that.
No, it's not really his thing.
Yeah. But he's a great actor, so I think it could still end up great, no matter what.
I know that I'm completely in the minority here. I really wish that Ben Affleck would have been given some good material to be Batman.
Me too. He was good.
Right?
He was a good Batman.
Like, people think you're crazy when you say that, and they're confusing the fact that you're not saying Batman v Superman was good.
No.
Because it was
it's
fucking
not.
terrible.
Justice League, not good. But
Terrible.
Batman is good.
Yeah, but like, I really do like him as Bruce Wayne, and I do like him as Batman, and I love the gray bat suit that they put him in and stuff, like Frank Miller's suit.
He looked good.
I was
and
way
he
on
played
board
it
with
well.
that. Yeah, so I do wish he would have been given like a decent movie, but I think there was some kind of big behind the scenes conflict and shit.
Yeah,
there,
I don't
right?
think he was happy with it for sure. He
Yeah.
wasn't liking the reviews coming back on him and stuff, and I get that. I mean, it's not his fault. He didn't write Batman versus Superman. He
Hey,
was
you
just
don't know
in
that.
it. Oh shit! Did he?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Steve, we're about ready to start dipping in to the movie review
Dipping and
portion
dapping?
of
Don't
this
know what's
show.
happening?
But I notice that both of us have a couple of glass cups
That's
here.
an empty cup.
I ain't
right
got
there.
nothing in them at all, Steve. What do you think we should
shit.
put in them here?
I bet Ryan Garn sent us something.
I think that he did. I just pulled it out of a koozie right here that's keeping it all cold, and I appear to have removed a Fruit Cup Berliner Weiss from Pontoon Brewing.
I'm excited.
Georgia, USA. A proud former penal colony, Georgia. It doesn't say that. I added that.
The Australia of America.
The Australia of America, correct. It is a Berliner Weiss with tart cherries, wild blueberries, and vanilla.
Okay.
I'm very excited about this. It's a 5.1%.
Okay. So it's a bit lower on the alcohol, but that's pretty common.
Yeah, 5 is. This is from the same company that did that last sour that we had, the 2-cup purple stuff.
Oh yeah,
that Ryan also sent us, and that was insane.
Yeah,
that was like an imperial Berliner Weiss. That's a really hard word set to say right there. And that shit was amazing.
Yeah, it is hard.
Right? It's not just me. Yeah, so this fruit cup right here should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I look forward to scoping this out right now. So let's just pour this thing into a rig. It appears to be
that is pink.
A nice raspberry pink kind of color. This looks to be nicely effervescent on top right here. Again, it kind of looks like cranberry juice, honestly.
It does.
Now that I've poured a whole glass of it, it looks a lot like cranberry juice.
Looks like we might be about to drink a Cape Codder or something.
Yeah, or maybe a, what do they call that? A poinsettia, which is like a mimosa with cranberry juice. You ever have that? It's good.
Mm-hmm.
What's that beer about? What's that do to you? Is it working? Is it effective?
Yeah. It's berry-y.
Works as described?
Yeah, I would say, like, a lot of times when there's something that has berries in it, you get, like, a slight flavor, but this all-around berry flavory.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
They are not hiding the taste
berries.
of them berries at all.
And vanilla.
Yeah,
it's got
the vanilla's kind of late
to it. It's like a nice mixed berry pie.
Wow. Yeah, and it's like I'm really kind of getting a lot of like strawberry.
Uh-huh.
You can definitely taste those tart cherries in there.
Yeah.
It's not too sour.
No.
But it's also not too sugary either. It also doesn't taste anything like beer.
No, that doesn't taste like a beer at all.
But it's like Berliner Weisses don't usually.
No, they're a bit different. They got their own thing going on.
It's a fermented beverage, but not necessarily a beer.
Like kvass.
Like what?
It's Russian bread soda.
What the fuck is that?
It's made of like brown bread basically, and you can ferment it and drink it, and it's like got a beer flavor to it. But it even if you don't ferment it, it tastes like beer.
Is it alcoholic?
It can be,
but otherwise it's just bread soda.
Yeah, it just tastes like beer.
Wow. All the empty calories, none of the benefit.
Right.
Bread soda.
It's not a popular. Well, it is popular. I was gonna say it's not. It's pretty popular, especially in the summer. You'd see big people wheel out these big kvass tanks. Mm-hmm. Get you a pull.
I think I'm just gonna start calling all beer bread soda. I'd go for a
cold
bread soda.
sodas.
Go for a slice of pizza and a bread soda about now. That's
when
funny.
you say it like
it.
that, it's real weird
really
to
does
drink
work.
beer and eat pizza.
Oh, man.
It's like just pure carbs.
Yeah. When you say it that way, you realize that's really what you're doing.
It's like you're just eating a field of wheat.
This is good.
I keep taking sips of it
really
because
enjoy it.
I keep forgetting that this is a beer.
Yeah, it's so light and delicious.
All right, this is something my wife might even like.
Steve, this came out in 1987.
Yeah.
Which, I'll tell you, I didn't realize that it was this old. Mm-hmm. And then when I watched it, I didn't realize it wasn't older. This is a weird thing. Like, the first Evil Dead...
Yeah, it's like 81.
81,
Mm-hmm.
but it really feels like a 70s movie.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And even this movie, to me, still kind of feels like a late 70s movie, even though it was really a late 80s movie. There's a lot of this that just doesn't reek of the 80s to me. Right. And maybe it's, it's because it has...
for the archaeologist's daughter and her hair and her shoulder pads.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, she's kind of
the only 80s
giveaway.
part,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because, of course, we have Sam Raimi's classic, the classic, as it's called, his car that's in all of his movies.
Yeah.
You know about that, right?
Yeah, and it's an Ash vs. Evil Dead as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. I gotta watch that.
You do. It's a great show, yeah.
So it's got the classic in it, which is a 70s car. The soundtrack is all orchestral. There's no, synth or anything like that would betray it as being 80s.
Right.
It just still kind of feels like
and
a late 70s movie.
it's supposed to just be the next day of the first movie.
That's true.
Which they were technically shooting in the 70s.
That's also true. They were,
You're right. Yeah, it is. it does have that feel, and it like carries over into this. Now, it doesn't carry over into Army of Darkness, obviously, because that's like 93, and it's set in medieval England. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel 70s. You're right.
When was the first time that you watched this movie?
1987, I imagine.
Damn,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, I remember watching this. My aunt had rented it and watching it, and we really like laughed so much about it.
So you're like 5 when you watched this.
Yeah. And
that's so funny. Just sitting there pooping your pants watching this movie.
It was the first time I really wanted to see a sequel. It was the first time where like the setup for a sequel, like it caught in my head that's what they were doing. And
I see.
Being like, I want to see that.
Like you're talking about the very end of this movie where it ends up at the castle.
Yeah, where it's Army of Darkness, the beginning of Army of Darkness, basically.
It's so ridiculous. The ending of the movie is ridiculous. And it's like you said.
That was actually supposed to be a bigger part of the movie as a whole. The medieval part was actually supposed to be the movie, but they couldn't get the budget to do it.
Oh.
So they basically just ended up remaking the first one, but...
Yeah. Huh. I could see that, though, as like being a kid and being like, what? Suddenly there's like, they're in medieval times and there's knights and stuff. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Right on. How long did it take before Army of Darkness came out?
It was 93, I think, so 6 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's one of those that I remember seeing ads for in comic books and video game magazines.
Lots, a ton.
Like
in the back of comics, I remember, 93. That was when I first got subscriptions to Iron Man and Spider-Man 2099, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember it was in the back like for
all
months.
the time, dude. Yeah, I was reading those fucking same comics back then. Although I never subscribed.
Yeah, I got that for my birthday. It was pretty cool.
Oh, it wasn't even like that issue. It was that to little OCD, slightly on the spectrum, Uncle Ben.
You wouldn't want to start in the middle of the numbers?
No, it's that thing I know it ended up rolled up in my mailbox. It wouldn't come bagged and boarded to my house.
It was bagged, but they weren't boarded. I remember that, and that I did get one that was crinkled, and I was pissed.
Yeah, I could not have dealt with that.
Yeah.
So I always, got them from a comic shop.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the interesting thing about this is this is one of those first figures where I think I started understanding what a cult status was for a character, for Bruce Campbell, for Ash, just for this kind of franchise of movies. Because of course this is well before the dawn of the internet and message boards and shit like this, where people could reach out and talk to each other. But I remember even just reading, Wizard magazine and stuff like that back when I was a kid, and understanding that there was this entire like kind of subculture of Evil Dead worshipers that would quote Ash lines and say groovy and this is my boomstick.
I remember talking about it at school and it being like, it was right there with like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies that we would talk about at school, like when we'd be like, have you seen this movie?
Yeah.
It's got boobies.
Right.
Yeah. But Evil Dead was right up there as one that everybody the people that did watch horror movies had seen.
But this is in the age too where it's like, this day and age, there's no mystery to anything. If you walk in on a conversation and you're like, what are you guys talking about? Mm-hmm. Well, then they tell you, and then you just Google it, and you're like, oh,
okay. Now I know everything about it.
Yeah, but back then, it's like when you heard somebody say, again, this is my boomstick or whatever, just whatever line it is from the movie that they're quoting, and they're like, yeah, Evil Dead, dude, Ash. If you wanted to know what they were talking about, you'd have to go and hunt it down.
Yeah, and then watch it.
Yeah, you'd have to sit down and watch it. Like, there was no online synopsis you could read. There was no YouTube clip reel that you could watch so you could bullshit and get by with the minimal amount of facts. It's like, you had to kind of dig for this stuff. And that made it so special.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that I watched this movie for the first time, I think in college, dude.
Okay.
Because I think I watched the first Evil Dead, towards later on in high school or early college.
Uh-huh.
I could probably go back to the episode that we did on it, and it might educate me as to where I saw it. I don't know. But I don't remember exactly.
Go back and listen to that, and then educate Ben as to what you saw.
let me know when I saw it the first time. But I watched this one and just loved it. Like the first one, going into it, uninitiated, I was like, I don't really know how to feel about this because it's kind of old and grimy and scary, and it's also kind of silly.
Yeah, it gets real silly at the end, especially. Yeah.
And then you watch this one, and you're like, oh man, this is almost like a scary Looney Tunes live action.
There are even like Looney Tunes noises and stuff.
Right? That's something I was noticing. There's all kinds of like sound effects and stuff like that are just straight out of cartoons and straight out of the Three Stooges and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the Three Stooges are a definite inspiration to this. Let's just get a little history as to how this came about.
Yeah, tell me about, because I'm curious about how this came about, because it's not necessarily a sequel. It's kind of a remake.
And it's like 6 years after the original.
Yeah.
The original made okay amount of money.
Yeah.
So Sam Raimi, got other work from that, and he was making Crime Wave.
I don't know what that is.
It's crime movie comedy. The main gist of it is at the end, everybody said, I'm not sure what this is.
Okay.
And Sam Raimi wasn't happy with it because the studio wouldn't let him edit it. They had their own people do it, so he wasn't even involved in the edit. But while working on that, he and Scott Spiegel started working on this idea for Evil Dead 2. Now, the idea for Evil Dead 2 involved like going to medieval times, and also like had like at one point there was a robbery, like some robbers came to the cabin to find buried treasure or something, whatever. But they had written up this script, but Sam Raimi wanted to do other stuff, so he was doing Crime Wave. Then when Crime Wave kind of tanked, he was just needing to get any sort of work he could. And turns out that Stephen King, who was a big fan of the first one, and who wrote up a real big, like, great review of it that kind of helped it get a bunch of attention it can.
Yeah, he really championed the first one, yeah.
Dino De Laurentiis went to Sam Raimi and Scott Spiegel and wanted them to do an adaptation of Stephen King's Thinner.
And that turned out great in theaters.
Well,
no, it didn't.
They didn't want to do it. Sam Raimi was like, nah, I'm just not interested. All of this was happening while at the same time, Raimi and producer Bob Tappert, they had this idea for Evil Dead 2, and basically Bob Tappert just decided to go ahead and announce it was going to happen.
Oh, this is happening now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which kind of, lit the fire. And Stephen King called Dino De Laurentiis, who, already knew Sam Raimi from the Thinner discussion. And Stephen King had heard that they were having trouble finding funding for this Evil Dead 2 idea. Mm-hmm. And he's told Dino De Laurentiis he should fund it. And Dino De Laurentiis was like, okay, Stephen King's telling me to fund this movie. Yeah. I'll do it. They wanted $4 million. He was only able to give them 3.6.
Okay, so this is a 3.6 budget.
Yeah, so I mean that sounds like $400,000 is not a big deal, but they made the first movie for less than that. So for Raimi, especially because it was like his third project, like that's a huge budget.
Oh yeah.
He's still not getting to do everything he wanted to do, but he's got a lot to work with. If you see, there's a documentary that has Robert Kurtzman, Howard Berger, and Greg Nicotero, who all three worked on this fucking movie.
Right, the unholy trinity right there.
All three worked on this movie and weren't even top billed in the special effects department at that time. Like, this was early for them.
Yeah, three legends.
Yeah.
Legends.
They shot a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes footage, and having that bigger budget and just having people trust him, you can see Sam Raimi in his element just making a fun movie. Like, they're all having a blast. Mm-hmm. He and Bruce Campbell, like, he apparently, this is just something I don't think we mentioned in Evil Dead 1, but it's something to know about. Anytime Sam Raimi has Bruce Campbell in something, he's torturing Bruce Campbell. Because they've been friends since like 8th grade.
Oh,
so he
really?
loves torturing Bruce Campbell. So
that's awesome. I mean, that's exactly what you'd do if you were putting your friend in a movie. You'd be like, now let's put his face in the fucking mud.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. And when they're like pulling him through the forest, that was him hitting him with the branches.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I was wondering because I was watching that. I was like, man, he's getting fucking beat up.
Well, because like they're friends, so like Bruce will let him do it because he's like, well, I know Sam doesn't mean anything by it, but Sam's also doing it because he's like, this is funny.
Yeah, fuck with my friend.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Oh, one thing I did want to point out about the writing of this that is so fucking crazy. So Raimi and Scott Spiegel wrote this while living in Silver Lake in LA, which is hipster area.
Yeah, hipster mecca right now.
Yeah, but at that time was, and even just maybe 10 years ago was kind of dilapidated, not great area of town. At the time, they were living with the Coen brothers, Frances McDormand.
Oh, what?
Kathy Bates and Holly Hunter.
They were living together.
All of these people were living together in Silver Lake.
What in the fuck?
Yeah.
That's too much talent in one house right there, man. Like if a black mold infestation busted out in that house,
that would have been the worst.
Think of all the amazing movies we would have lost, God, that's amazing. Could you imagine the late night hangouts?
Seriously, yeah.
Oh man.
So apparently Bobby Joe in this is inspired by Holly Hunter.
I can completely
now you
see
can
that.
See it. Yeah, the moment somebody says Holly Hunter, it's like, yeah, that's Holly Hunter.
Yeah, Bobby Joe in this movie. How funny.
I guess they just probably couldn't afford her at the time, but that would have been awesome if she had played that.
Dude, I would have loved to have just been a fly on the wall and just hang out at that house.
Seriously.
Holy cow.
That would be so cool. So yeah, this movie just sort of came together with Scott Spiegel, who was a comedy writer up to this point. And so he brought his comedy to it. But then Sam Raimi, who also wanted to throw in a bunch of Three Stooges gags, basically, and just really ham it up.
And they do.
They do. But it's still like a good horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it's campy and silly and whatnot, but it's like there's also a decapitated body with a chainsaw chasing after him. Like that's amazing horror.
Yeah, and there's other just amazing shit like that big head that ends up popping through the door.
The manifestation of the demon. Yeah, that thing is crazy.
And the big tree hand that reaches out and gets him. Amazing, so cool. And I think part of what keeps this movie kind of grounded with one foot in horror and one foot in just ridiculous, silly comedy. Yeah. That soundtrack makes you think it's a serious horror movie at all times.
Yeah, that's what keeps you in it. It's the lighting and the soundtrack are constantly reminding you it's a horror movie.
Yeah. Like
but everything else is telling you no.
Right. Yeah, like if it went into ragtime piano or something silly, it'd be like, okay, all right, this is just a silly movie. Got it. But the fact that the soundtrack is so ominous and eerie and it's orchestral and stuff keeps you rooted in the idea that, okay, I'm watching a scary movie. This guy's breaking plates over his own head because his hand is possessed by a demon.
He's fighting his own hand.
Yeah. But it makes all the silliness seem more serious because that soundtrack is telling you to feel a certain way, but what you're seeing doesn't really match it. And it would be so easy for that to turn out badly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this could have easily been bad, but this is a classic. Most people think it's better than the original. I don't know that I agree it's better.
I think it's at least as good.
Yeah, it's as good. I'm going to say, I don't know that it's a better horror movie, but it's a better movie.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it. Yeah, it's a more enjoyable, fun watch. Yeah. It's not necessarily a better horror movie.
True.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it right there. And it's all on Bruce Campbell's shoulders.
All of it, yeah. He's pretty much alone for the first 25 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, which, he's pretty much alone for the last hour of Evil Dead.
Yeah, so it's just a continuation of his tour de force of acting, of just being by himself and still being able to be amazing in every single scene.
And it's the kind of thing where we've talked about how, actors and directors and stuff like this are making choices.
Yes.
Every bit along the way. It's like nothing you're seeing is really accidental or just stumbled upon.
No.
These people have made choices that this character should be portrayed this certain way and act this certain way. And the way that Bruce Campbell looks like a living character.
He really does.
And also acts like a living character.
If you drew a caricature of him, it would just be him.
Yeah, it'd be photorealistic. And then the way that he chooses to act and everything too is it's not even objectively good.
No.
From a theater standpoint. He's not.
But it's definitively him.
Yeah, right.
It's nobody else.
Yeah. It's like he almost decided from day one, I'm going to be a cult status legend actor that some people really get.
And a lot of people do, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's I don't know, because he's been in some popular shows. He was in Burn Notice pretty heavily. I've never watched that show, but people really like that show. But he's also in more obscure stuff like Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Then he'll make, an appearance in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, but then he also does that Elvis movie. What was that?
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Yeah. He's all over in like obscure and then like very visible stuff.
Let's get the impression that he does what he fucking wants to do.
Yes, I feel like that too. I feel that's very true, is that whatever he wants to do, he does it. And then if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to.
He is amazing in this.
He's so good.
Again, he is a Looney Tunes live action character. The scenes where he starts especially after his hand gets possessed and he's fighting his own hand. And realistically on screen portraying, it's like one man against his own hand, and he's in this kitchen, and the hand is it's got a mind of its own, and it's grabbing plates and breaking them over his head and all that stuff, and breaking bottles over his head. And I love that once he's knocked out cold, the hand sees that. I think it's the chainsaw across the room.
And just starts pulling him.
Yeah,
that is so perfect.
Amazing. It's so fantastic. And then
they
later
showed
on,
how they did that, and it was basically the hand. They just had a hole in the floor that was about 6 inches wide. Yeah, and the one side of the floor was raised up a little so you couldn't see the other side. And then that person with the hand would just do this.
That's awesome.
So simple, but it looks so effective.
Yeah. And I love too. Again, this kind of goes back to the Looney Tunes thing that I keep talking about. There's those scenes where the hand is crawling around after he cuts the hand off, and it's crawling around behind the floorboards.
It flips them off.
Yeah, and the floorboards have those big things that you always see in old school cartoons, but I've never seen in real life.
Yeah, no.
The hole.
The mouse hole that's he was going to put a door there but forgot.
Yeah, I've never once seen... Has that ever happened? Did mice used to carve holes through your fucking floorboards?
Mice used to be much more into construction.
Wow.
Yeah, used to build elaborate houses back there.
Well, that's also when they were doing their molding around the bottom of the floors out of a hard cheese instead of wood.
Yeah, that probably didn't help.
It didn't contribute.
The Parmesan molding. I mean, it would taste delicious.
Yeah, and add an earthy, nutty aroma to the house.
Floorboards.
Yeah, only a mouse.
You know what? You're really inviting a mouse in at that point.
Yeah, at that point, it's kind of on you.
It's their fault.
It's kind of on you. But dude, I love that they had that whole scene where there were all those mouse holes and it got its finger caught in a mouse trap. It's Tom and Jerry as shit.
It's Tom and Jerry.
And he's shooting at it with a gun and stuff, and he blows that hole in the wall, and that blood geyser shoots out of the wall.
He just says so many things to his hand that are ridiculous.
Oh man. And the hand is going
he's making noise
where's the noise coming from? Where's the mouth of the hand or the vocal cords of the hand that are making these sounds? It's so dumb and awesome.
I don't know how to say, how do you put together the words to describe how he can perform against himself that perfectly and still be that charming? Who's he even charming? He's charming himself.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah. I'm along for the ride.
He's so good.
Yeah.
If I were making a horror Mount Rushmore, I'd definitely consider putting his chin right there in the middle.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I think actually the Mount Rushmore would be on his inverted chin.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's so everyone just sits upon his chin.
Yeah. So you'd have Robert Englund and
right?
Kane Hodder and fucking all these other guys carved onto Bruce Campbell's chin. That is horror Mount Rushmore right there.
Yeah. Because we talked about it before this. There's not normally we try to find the metaphors and the deeper allusions and things that are going on.
Yeah, what
movies.
is it trying to say about society?
This isn't trying to say anything.
No.
This movie's just trying to say, man, Bruce Campbell's awesome, and look at these cool effects we can do.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
To me, that is what this movie feels like, is have a good time.
Yeah.
And as I was watching it, it really kind of reminds me of, let's say riding through something like the Haunted Mansion at Disney, or a scary roller coaster where you're laughing and then something jars you and scares you and you scream for a second and then you start laughing again.
Yeah, you move back into the laughter.
Yeah, it's this constant thing of like, there's a lot of jump scares and just silly shit in this movie, but then you start laughing right afterwards because you realize how silly it was that you got scared about that.
And then the whole cabin starts laughing with you.
Dude, when the fucking lamp starts laughing,
that's what inspired it, actually. What's his name? Scott Spiegel was like, they were just talking and I guess writing the stage or the script, and he just started doing that with the lamp, like ha, ha, ha. And they thought it was so funny they put it in the movie.
The laughing deer is freaky as fuck.
Oh my god,
it's so weird.
I love too that like it's like laughing, and then it like dies down for a second.
It just
like
goes
right
again.
Back up,
yeah. And I love when he starts like kind of like bobbing with the lamp up and down and then stops.
That's so much like a Steamboat Willie type of cartoon.
Dude, yeah, that felt like a damn black and white Disney cartoon. Everything's bobbing and moving. Like the books are laughing.
Yeah.
Everything in the room.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Like this movie, there's not like a ton
to talk about, really. Yeah, it's like you said, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like, have a fucking good time while you watch this.
I mean, there's cool stuff to point out, like the stuff about the Necronomicon.
Yeah. The intro where it shows like the book floating and the illustrations.
Cool. It's a cool
and
animation and stuff.
There's some stuff in there that's similar to William Blake paintings too, like the Red Dragon painting. I think there's some stuff in there that's kind of directly lifted from that.
The Necronomicon has more of a role. I mean, it has a role throughout the entirety of the Evil Dead series, but it's just like a book. You know, there's just other stuff that happens because of the book. But in Ash versus the Evil Dead, the book itself has like a role.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you get to learn more about it. This gives some cool background. I like, that it's inked in human blood. They said that stuff though in the first one, bound in human flesh, inked in human blood. They say it's like 3,000 years old. That's, pretty fucking old.
Yeah.
Puts it around 1000 BC. I mean,
but now we also get to like meet the archaeologist family and stuff that discovered it and all that shit.
Well, and here's the thing. This isn't a sequel to Evil Dead. We know that because the people from the Evil Dead aren't mentioned.
True, yeah. The movie kind of has a extremely simplified version of the first movie that happens at the intro of this.
Yeah, the intro is like 10 minutes of recap.
Yeah.
That basically just rewrites what happened in the first one.
And apparently that's because they couldn't get the rights.
Yeah, they did have them in the script. They were going to have everybody come back
like
and just do that.
Friday the 13th style flashback of previously on.
Yeah, but since they couldn't, what it does with the continuity is something interesting to me. And then maybe this is something a little bit deeper, but it's definitely not intended. Is that because the continuity messes up between Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then between Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, it's almost like that. It says in this movie that the Necronomicon served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond. It's almost like between each movie, he passes into an alternate universe.
A little multiverse action, huh?
Yeah, like he's in, and I think the comic books do something with this because Ash vs. the Evil Dead actually, is that what the comic's called?
I don't know.
Ash vs. the Evil Dead? I'm not sure, but the comic books actually initiated the Marvel Zombies thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was like the Marvel Zombie virus came from the Ash vs. Evil Dead universe, which is in Dark Horse Comics to Marvel. So like, there is this like long tradition of the Evil Dead moving between universes. So I think that like what the movie sets up is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse actually does this. Into the Spider-Verse does, each time you meet the new Spider-Man, they're like, all right, let's do this again. And then they tell their background. And then you go to the next Spider-Man. All right, let's do this again. And they tell their background. Cool. It's like each of the movies start with what happened before, but it's always slightly different. It's always a little bit changed because
that's cool.
Each of the movies are made by different studios.
Awesome, yeah.
So they didn't have like access to all the things, but it actually makes for a cool like universe hopping Ash.
Yeah, well, it's that thing we talked about how a lot of times the consistency of mythology is not at all accurate. Like you have all kinds of conflicting stories and character traits. But
that's what makes it fun, is the inconsistency and trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah, it's cool because like this movie starts off with Ash up at the cabin with his girlfriend, and within 5 minutes he has decapitated her.
Yeah, it's just real quick, and then he's already buried her, and she's already getting out of the grave.
Yeah, like immediately with the fucked up stuff happening.
Yeah,
it wastes zero time.
And that grave dance scene.
Yeah, that's like stop motion, like Ray Harryhausen shit.
Yeah, did that? Like, I immediately was like, Nightmare Before Christmas.
I know, dude. I did the same thing. I was like, this is Tim Burton as fuck.
Yeah.
And like her head like rolls up to her and she puts it on.
Yes.
Kind of dances around and stuff. So cool.
The part where he throws her head and it goes rolling down and hits, like, rolls toward the camera. They had to do that so many times to get it to roll toward the camera, because they actually were just throwing a head. They didn't have like a path, so it was like going down a hill, and they were like, "Oh, I hope it gets to there."
Awesome.
Took them so many shots, but anyway, I was reminded of Tim Burton, but then 87. That means he just made like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right? Like that came out.
I don't know when that came out. I'm not sure.
86 or so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So like. Was it an inspiration? Yeah, it was an inspiration for him, because he did make Frankenweenie, and Frankenweenie was more like that, but it wasn't like the animated one that he made later. It had an actual dog and stuff, but it was black and white and more. I don't know. So like, was he watching that and like, oh, that's real cool?
I don't know. Or was it just like he watched a bunch of Harryhausen movies when he was a kid, like Jason and the Argonauts and stuff. And it was like, oh, I'm doing a horror movie. I want to do some of that stuff too. There's also prevalent stop motion in the first one as well.
That's true.
I forgot how much stop motion there is in this.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
There is a lot. And
it's awesome.
The mother in the cellar.
Yeah, Henrietta.
Her face.
Yeah, and the long neck thing and all that jazz.
And she's making like chimp noises.
Yeah, for some reason monkey sounds. I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
When her head gets cut off, it's like the sound of a balloon deflating.
It's so funny, man. It's so awesome.
They were just having so much fun making this movie that they were like, I'm gonna put a balloon deflating here. And,
yeah, sure. Why not?
Sounds great.
Dude, that scene where the headless corpse busts into the work shed with the chainsaw is phenomenal.
Yes, it's
amazing. And they basically
that's a puppet.
Yeah, they made like a cast of I guess her torso.
That's a whole cast of the actress's torso on a puppet being
like marionette thing
at the top for the chainsaw.
I figured that they were working it from underneath.
Well, the puppet was being worked underneath, but the arms were being like,
oh, I see. The body part.
Yeah, one guy was holding the puppet up and was on like one of those sliding things you go under cars with, and they pushed him through the door. So it looked like she was running in, and then they had somebody up the top working the marionette arms.
But you know, it's funny because that's one of those deals where that is so much cheaper and more practical.
Than CG?
Well, than CG, or even back then, making an animatronic of it, where it would be moving with all these servos and motors and shit like this. But at the same time, you know, if you can step back from the silliness for a second, it looks so wildly frantic, and like weirdly realistic, but not quite there.
That it's creepy.
So effective, dude. It's this headless corpse just freaking out on him.
Yeah,
while the head, which is in a vice,
laughing at him.
Is laughing at him. Did you catch the Freddy Claw in the work shed?
Oh, I didn't see it, but I read about it. I just didn't pay attention for it.
Yeah, it's like the Freddy Claw is like right above the door. Apparently, it's somewhere in the cellar as well. Like when he's looking for the missing pages. Yeah, because apparently it's down there.
That's like the they had the Hills Have Eyes poster in the basement on the first one,
right?
And then they were watching Evil Dead in Nightmare on Elm Street, and then they were paying back that with the claw. And
it's kind of this constant like Raimi Craven dialogue.
That's cool.
Going on, which I think is really fucking cool.
We don't get a lot of that anymore. It doesn't seem
right, like that cool like directors really talking to each other in the movies,
through their films.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Now they just tweet at each other.
Yeah,
not nearly as
like,
cool.
I like your film.
Yeah,
whatever.
Cool. So the special effects in this are great, and there are gallons upon gallons of blood. Oh my god. And some of it's red.
Some of it's green.
Some of it's blue. There's some yellow blood in there.
They did that to avoid getting an X rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew that if they changed up the blood color, and also if they made, like, you know how when he cuts off his hand, like how silly it is?
Yeah.
They knew if they made it sillier and lighter that they could get away with that more.
Right. But at the same time, dude, that scene where he's cutting off his hand.
It's very brutal.
Yeah. And
he stabs himself in the hand and
And there's that one scene where shit, I'm trying to remember if it's him sawing the head or if it's him sawing his hand off. But all it shows is the blood hitting his face.
Mm-hmm. That's what he's sawing his hand off.
Sawing his hand off, okay. So it doesn't really show it, but it just shows you the effect. And it's so effective.
They do the same when he is sawing the head or sawing the body or whatever. The blood goes splattering, but it splatters onto the light bulb.
Yeah, and it shows like the silhouette of him like chainsawing that
and
head.
And
it's
so like effective and bloody without being gory, and
also it's cheaper.
It's way cheaper.
Yeah, I mean like they probably bought a 50-cent squirt bottle to shoot blood, corn syrup blood in his face. Which, by the way, apparently, this is filmed in like North Carolina.
Yeah, it was. They moved there because De Laurentiis's offices were in North Carolina.
Yeah, and they had Bruce Campbell is just basically covered in corn syrup blood this entire fucking movie. I mean, just like he was in the first one.
You've been there. It's not fun.
No, it is not fun. And apparently insects became a real problem, and he would just spend his days.
And they were shooting in the summer.
I mean, dude,
inside of a high school gym without air conditioning.
A gym.
So, like inside of a building, built inside a building. Like, how hot would that be? There's no circulation whatsoever, and you're just covered in corn syrup.
And apparently, well, and too, that's funny because when you think about the way the first one was made, where it happened to be filmed during like one of the coldest fucking winters in history, where he said that like his shirt would shatter because it was frozen with that corn syrup on it. And then, a couple of years later, they do this other one where he's also covered in corn syrup all the time. It's swelteringly hot, and he's got swarms of flies and bugs around him all the time. There's flies all over him through the whole movie if you watch.
But he had it easy in comparison to Ted Raimi.
Sam Raimi's brother, Ted Raimi, who is a national treasure.
Yeah, he's great. He's in a ton of stuff. He was in Candyman.
Was he?
That's the only movie we've covered with him in it, other than Evil Dead. I think.
Is that so? Yeah, because he's in the intro. That's right. He's the guy in the intro. Dude, wait until we do fucking Intruder. God damn it, dude. Slasher in a grocery store, and he plays a prominent role.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I can't wait to do that one.
The suit they made for him was...
the Henrietta suit.
The Henrietta suit was latex rubber, and to give it, the fullness that it had, they had bean bags. So
sack of beans, huh?
So it's already hot. He's inside of a building, built inside of a building, covered in latex, and inside that latex is just bags of beans. They showed it in the behind the scenes footage I was talking about that Greg Nicotero and those guys shot of them just pulling away the latex at his legs and just sweat pouring out.
I saw it. I saw that. I saw a clip of that. They pull like his foot off of his leg, and it is like pouring fucking soup out of a ladle. Yeah. Like the amount of sweat, and it was nasty because like I guess they had to like powder him down with like talcum or cornstarch or something to keep the latex from like adhering to his skin. So it was just this like slurry coming off of him, just swimming in that suit.
He said it was a nightmare.
I bet that it was horrible.
Yeah.
But that prosthetic looks so awesome.
It really does. It looks amazing. And they left a like sort of cellar hole at the crotch to give him some circulation. But it ends up having the effect of looking like an actual vagina, kind of. Like a
I didn't notice that, really.
Kind of vagina. And it's just like, oh, gross.
Makes it worse.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of like blood spray and stuff. Like I said, there's that one where he shoots the wall, and the wall like just shoots him with. It's like a damn fire hose of blood.
And it changes colors.
Yeah,
too.
It turns black.
Black. Yeah, it goes from red to black.
There's a lot of black blood in this.
A lot of black, and that green blood when he chops up the boyfriend guy.
Yeah, he's all full. Evil Ed. He's full of green blood. The blue blood comes out of the eye of the apple head face.
Did you notice in his makeup that he had like shark rows of teeth?
I noticed that this time.
I had never noticed that before.
Such a cool detail, man. You can kind of see it when he like bites her hair off and his head kind of goes back.
That's so like comical too, biting hair and just being like,
yeah, not what I was after. It's so good. Yeah, apparently they tried to do that to avoid getting like an NC-17. Still got an NC-17 rating.
Yeah, they did everything they could to avoid it, and still just And that's like a kiss of death, basically, in America. I mean, this still did end up making money, but not much.
One of my favorite effects is, again, the return of the ghost vision, which we had the ghost vision or demon vision or whatever in the first one, where it shows like just a POV thing, like running through the woods.
Yeah.
And they did it on that super ghetto homemade Steadicam.
Right.
Which was just basically like a guy holding a 2x4 with a camera on it.
Right.
And in this one, the demon vision or whatever you want to call it is so cool because there's a few shots where it'll like race through the woods and then like bust through the house.
Yeah, it breaks through the window. It breaks through those doors and stuff.
Yeah, it's like kicking the doors down. At one point, it breaks through like the back glass of the car.
Yeah.
I don't know how they filmed that.
They did talk about that in the documentary I watched. Where they
cuts?
They pulled it. They basically just pulled it through. They had a thing set up to sort of break the windows on both and just pulled it through on a wire.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is
so
really
they really
cool.
did that.
They really broke those windows, yeah.
I was figuring there was some kind of like cut that I wasn't seeing or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I love whenever it chases him through the walls of the house.
Yeah. When it's chasing him, how many doors are in that cabin? He goes through so many doors.
It really does. Now that I think about it.
Cabin, and it's
beating
full
the shit
of
out of that
doors.
thing, man. Yeah, and like he's knocking him down, and the fucking demon thing is knocking him down.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. But again, even like the whole like being chased through the walls is like very Looney Tunes.
Like him running from it, like he just hides from a demon.
It does, yeah. And then it kind of and then it kind of fucks off.
The demon's like, where did he
It
go?
looks around like where, and then it just fucks off after that. Okay,
Like, you scamp.
yeah. It's so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous. And it's interesting, too, to see that the Ash that we get in this is so different
Oh yeah.
than the Ash in the first one. Like, Bruce Campbell in the first one is a lot more, especially towards the first parts of the movie,
Yeah.
he's a lot more of a scaredy cat and, like, squeamish and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I was gonna say, I think that they really developed the Ash character while it was Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell just finishing the movie. I think they really
absolutely
caught
think so.
on to what he was supposed to be.
Yep.
So it was a good thing. I feel like that they basically had to remake the first movie for this movie, because what it does is you get to reintroduce Ash and be like, this is who Ash is, instead of like we're figuring out who Ash is. Like, you know who he is from the beginning.
Right. And they hid so much funny stuff in here, too. Like, if you're watching close, and some of it's not like that really hidden, I guess, but like after he hides his like severed hand under that trash can, he puts the book A Farewell to Arms on top of it,
Yes,
which
he
is
does.
so dumb, dude. It's so dumb.
It's a wonderfully dumb joke, yeah.
But then there's other like little things that I noticed this time through that I hadn't really caught before. So you remember he gives his girlfriend that like necklace, right?
Uh-huh.
And later on in the movie, when he's Evil Ash, which, by the way, I love that he spends like half of the movie as a fucking deadite,
Yeah.
as a zombie.
Oh, and by the way, the white eye thing,
Yeah.
that's so cool. The way they did that was they had 2 pieces of plastic and a tiny tube of milk.
Oh, like when he
Squeeze-
transforms and it shows
Yeah.
it? Really?
That's milk.
I heard
so
that
perfect.
Those contact lenses were just the whiteout, like they couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
They just basically had
Yeah,
to do it
those old
blind.
school whiteout contact lenses. Yeah. I can't imagine. And they hurt too.
Oh,
Because it was
God,
like
I
your
bet.
whole eye, like
Yeah.
up and ugh.
They redid a lot of things from the first movie.
They did.
And again, that's where it's like, is it a remake or not?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just like the the 2013 Evil Dead. Like, that's not a remake so much. But it's not like a continuation of the story we know. But at the end, we see Ash, and he says groovy.
Yeah.
That furthers my argument that each of these is like an alternate universe. Like, the book is pulling him through universes, and in each of these, it's a little bit different. Like in one, he was with his girlfriend and his sister, and a boyfriend and her and the girlfriend or whatever. And the next is just him and his girlfriend. Then, at the end of this, the knights, he saves them from a deadite, and they like start to worship him or whatever. But then the beginning of Army of Darkness is him taken prisoner by those same knights. So it's like each one hops into a different sort of timeline where something different has happened. It's almost like the 2013 Evil Dead is Ash and those guys never even went up there, and then these other kids go up there and find the stuff.
Yeah, the Evil Dead multiverse is pretty fascinating when you look at it that way.
Yeah,
man, I'm so behind. I gotta watch Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Check it out. It's
I haven't
a fun
seen
show.
fucking Army of Darkness. What is the
you
matter
really
with me?
need to watch Army of Darkness and look for all the Lord of the Rings stuff. There's so much Two Towers stuff. There's a scene where people are like, "You have my bow."
I mean, dude, it's on the nose.
Well, the thing is, it's on the nose when you know the Peter Jackson movies, but Peter Jackson was actually duplicating what was in Evil Dead.
Well, here's the funny thing about this, and maybe you can Google this while I'm talking about this. When did Dead Alive come out?
Oh, 85? Actually, that might have been 88. That may have been later 80s than I even think.
Because the thing about this movie is, and as I was watching it, I just kept thinking that this so feels like a Kiwi movie. Like, this has that Dead Alive.
Dead Alive was 92.
92.
So, Peter Jackson,
so
he was really taking a ton of his inspiration from Sam Raimi.
Yeah. So it's like, did Sam Raimi kind of invent that Kiwi horror humor?
Maybe. Because all of those movies do kind of take on Evil Dead, especially Evil Dead 2 elements.
Yeah. I mean, Dead Alive is very similar in tone to Evil Dead 2. It's like more over the top.
Well, yeah, but it's still similar.
But that Kiwi humor thing is just something that is, as we talked about before, it is its own distinct flavor. I love it.
I
think
it
it's
too.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Where it kind of like loves being disgusting, but also kind of unenthusiastic acting wise. Like no big reactions.
Everything's unassuming.
Unassuming, yeah.
Everything is just, I would say even toned down, but that toning it down, it just works so perfectly with
outrageous shit happening.
The outrageous shit that's going on. Like What We Do in the Shadows. Like,
exactly right. Exactly. So I feel like this movie really must have struck a chord with New Zealand, and I don't know where that started. Or at the very least with New Zealand creatives. They were like, I want that. Because, Peter Jackson was so much inspired by this. Like, some of the stuff from Lord of the Rings that's in Army of Darkness is from the books. But then Peter Jackson, like, duplicated what was done in Army of Darkness. And it's so perfect. Wow.
It works so great when you see it it's a lot of it's Two Towers. Like, he really took a lot of Two Towers, especially the Battle of Helm's Deep from Army of Darkness.
Okay.
But you will really see like very specific things. Even like, you know how when all the Uruk-hai are outside the keep and they're just standing there and nothing has happened yet, and it sort of pans across them and one of them goes, ah.
Oh, yeah.
That's from Army of Darkness.
Like directly.
Exactly, directly, except they're skeletons instead of Uruk-hai. It's cool.
It has to be.
You gotta watch Army of Darkness.
It has to be on purpose.
Yeah, oh, sure. It definitely is.
I love this movie, dude.
I do too.
Like,
it's awesome.
Like I said, it's like there's really not a ton to say about it. There's not a ton to, like, critique or interpret or anything like that. Like, I feel like kind of everything is what it needed to be in this. It's super fast.
Yes, it is.
It's short. It's like an hour 25.
There's a lot of little, like, quick story in there. Like, the review of everything that happened in the first changed slightly. Also, we got the daughter of the archaeologist showing up with her boyfriend. Then the two other people that help them get there. Yeah. And then her boyfriend dies almost immediately. And then, like, off goes the other girl into the woods. She's dead. And then she accidentally stabs the tow truck driver. Like, all of that happens real quick. Mm-hmm. And then you're right there at the end of the movie. Just the two of them left and then the demon.
Which I love that, like, she's still not really convinced that he's not a demon and still, like, going after with the axe and stuff. He's like, I told you I'm fine.
It's so perfect. He's leaned up against the wall just having a breath, and then the axe just right beside his head.
Everybody in this just kind of, like, I think knew what the end product needed to be, especially Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody but him in this. I really, really, really can't. And like I said, the special effects are still awesome. And even when they're not awesome, like, I mean, obviously when you see stop motion, you know it's an effect. I mean, there is no hiding that.
Or the dead-eyed at the very end. It looks good from afar, but then as it gets closer, you can tell it's just this clay figure.
Yeah, very much so. But even at that, it's just like, it feels so much like, you know, Jason the Argonauts and shit like that even still, it's kind of appealing.
You want to buy into it. You're like, I know it's claymation, but it's cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think this movie is trying to, like, pull a fast one over on you and be like, hey, I bet you never noticed this is a special effect. I bet you thought we had a flying winged demon.
But we didn't.
Well, we did. It was a special effect.
We tried to get
one.
one.
We goofed you.
She wouldn't take the job.
Yeah, like, this movie is just very much kind of like we said about Planet Terror. It's just celebrating being a movie, and it's fun.
I'm real glad, though, that at the end of Raimi here, we got to do Planet Terror and Evil Dead, because we started out with, what was the first one? Oh my gosh. We had Mother second week, but...
Yeah, second week's Mother, which isn't really a grimy movie, but it's Mother's Day.
But it was fun. So, like, House of a Thousand Corpses and Frontiers, like, House of a Thousand Corpses has its fun moments or whatever, but it's kind of a slog, and really Frontiers is just a pure slog. And honestly, Mother, I mean, which is a good movie. Hard to watch, though.
Also
You're
kind of a Punisher.
The whole time.
Yeah, it really is.
But
it is.
Planet Terror and Evil Dead 2 back to back. This has been a blast.
That's a twofer right there.
For real.
That's what they call a twofer. Just ending on some
if somebody was
stuff.
playing that, like, double feature, that'd be a fun watch.
I'd be way on board with that right there. It's a great movie. I'll watch it a million more times, man. You got any final thoughts and a rating on this motherfucker?
Yeah, final thoughts. It's awesome. Yeah. And our ratings are meaningless. And I'm basically just pulling a number out of my ass. 9.5.
9.5? Or you know, I can't argue with it all. Like, it's fast. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's silly. It's gory.
Yeah.
It is scary at times. It's jump scary at least.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, the way that horror movie soundtrack seems to be unaware of the movie that it's in, like that at the same time makes it more of a legit horror movie and also makes it funnier at the same time.
It does. Yeah.
I can't explain it, but it's
that
great.
thing. It's just that thing where, like, you're being, like, you're starting to crack up, but people are telling you the situation is serious, but the fact that it's serious is making you laugh more because you're like, I shouldn't be laughing, but I am laughing.
You're getting the giggles.
Yeah.
It's just like that. It's great, man. I love it. I think that everybody knew exactly what was needed to be, and I think that it turned out probably exactly like they envisioned, you know, and I'm sure it was a blast to work on. Great special effects, great soundtrack. Yeah, if you don't like this movie, you're probably just not fun. You're probably not a good hang.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You're probably way too uptight to be a good person. Love it. I'm going to toss this thing a 9er.
Boom!
It's a good-ass movie, y'all.
It is.
Y'all better be seeing it.
Guess what we're doing next week, Ben?
I think that we're checking into camp. I got my sunblock packed. I got myself my short shorts.
Gonna put some zinc oxide on my nose.
Yep, I got to put zinc oxide on my nose. And I'm trying to remember if I packed myself a bag of potato chips.
Did you?
Oh, I believe I remember I did. Yes, a whole bag.
A whole bag. The sequel to Sleepaway Camp. Starring
Bruce
Springsteen's sister.
Yes.
Sleepaway Camp 2.
I am excited.
Yeah.
Sleepaway Camp, we covered that last year, which is one of our better episodes, honestly.
Yeah.
There's some great discussion in
this
that episode.
One probably have less of that.
Yeah, it's a less deep movie.
Actually, for about 4 weeks in a row, we're gonna be doing sequels.
I guess so, yeah.
Well, I mean, we just did one, Evil Dead 2, and then we got Sleepaway Camp 2, and then we got a couple more coming up. They're all fun.
Yeah,
I really love this Sleepaway Camp 2, even though it's nothing like the original. It's such a fun movie.
I think I've only seen it one time.
All right.
I think after my extremely traumatic viewing of Sleepaway Camp that I had.
You watched Sleepaway Camp 2?
Yeah, and I recall being, I think, a little underwhelmed because...
Because you're expecting a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting it.
After you've been blown away by Sleepaway Camp, it's like there's really nothing that can follow that exactly. So I think I went to it like expecting for that to happen again, so I didn't appreciate it as much as I probably should have. So I look forward to watching this again and just being like, oh, hopefully it's just a fun camp slasher. I love me a camp
It's some
slasher.
OG meta horror, and I'll talk about whether just how influential it was in meta horror for sure.
Okay, all right. Well, I look forward to getting into that next week. You guys be sure to tune in for that. Rate and review on iTunes. Holy fucking shit, it helps us out more than you know.
It does.
Keep them reviews piling in, y'all. Really helps us show up and spread the word. And also, if you guys got friends that enjoy a horror movie, be sure to tell them about this show. Podcasting, it's a word of mouth business, you guys. It's not the kind of thing where we're buying billboards in the Hollywood Hills or anything like
We're
that.
not yet, no.
It's
That's where I
not
live,
yet.
though. I do live inside of a billboard in the Hollywood Hills.
Right, but not our billboard.
No, not ours.
A billboard.
Just a billboard.
Right. So you guys be sure to spread the word. Share it on social media, Facebook, or just drop a buddy a tip and tell them, hey, y'all ought to check out that Dead and Lovely Horror Movie Podcast show.
Dragon Langley.
It'll get good, dear. Maybe you tell them like that. Steve, where can they follow us on the internet and give us their money?
Well, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Dead Lovely Pod. You can find us on Facebook at Dead and Lovely Horror Movie Podcast Group. You can also find us on Patreon, patreon.com/Dead and Lovely.
Give us your money.
We'll take it for sure. If you just want to give us some money just out of the goodness of your heart and don't want to dedicate to giving us something every month, you can send us money on PayPal, paypal.me/Dead and Lovely. You can also find us just out and about. If you see us, say hey.
Slap my hand. Slap it 5.
Slap it 5 times.
Thank you guys so much for all the support. The Patreon has been going really, really well so far. We really do appreciate that very much. Beer don't grow on trees, y'all.
It doesn't.
And-
if it did, though,
Oh,
can you imagine?
man. I'd have a beer tree
There's
outside
a
my
lake
house.
of stew and a whiskey too. You can paddle all around it in a big
the Big Rock
canoe
Candy
and
Mountain.
a big rock candy mountain.
The Big Rock and the mountain. Makes me want to watch your brother right now.
Oh, what a good
Most things do, though,
Yeah, that's true.
honestly. I met somebody the other day who's only seen it once.
Why?
And I'm like, why?
Yeah, were they
Just
barred from
once?
seeing it again?
It might have
Was
been
that it? They
Yeah.
watched it and then they were like, all right, you fucking Yankee, you can't watch it again.
You lost your chance, Yankee.
Why don't you go be a carpetbagger?
Yeah.
Love you, bye.
Thanks so much for listening. You guys have been great. We've been Dread and Lovely. Bye-bye. We'll eat your soul or something.
I'll eat your soul, Daddy.
We'll eat your souls. Dead by dawn.
Have I seen Hey Dude since I've been an adult?
Yeah.
No. I've thought about it many times, though.
It was shot like soap opera style, but also outside in California, so it was so bright all the time. I don't remember what it was about at all. They were at a dude
not
ranch.
a single thing. But I do remember, Hey Dude.
Yeah, that's all I remember about it. Was
Yeah.
well, I mean, because that was the coolest part.
It's kind of the opposite of a Salute Your Shorts, which I remember very much stuff about.
Salute Your Short was awesome. Budnick was like the redheaded punk dude, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then his friend was Donkey Teeth.
Donkey
What?
Lips.
Donkey Lips.
Yeah, dude. And there was Sponge.
I remember in the MySpace days, Donkey Lips was on MySpace.
Was he really?
Yes, I
Oh.
remember. Like, I think it was near the end of the MySpace days, finding Donkey Lips on MySpace and be like, dude, what?
Remember how they were constantly threatening something called the Awful Waffle?
Yeah.
And it was never really
Never
revealed
sure what
it
that
was.
was. Yeah.
I always really enjoyed that because it'd be like, "Oh, go get the tennis racket," and you're like,
What
What?
is involved?
one time somebody I think said something about getting some syrup.
Oh. Oh no.
I'm not sure what sort of
Somebody-
deviant act could be
Yeah.
performed with those
Somebody's
objects.
about to get spanked with a tennis racket and then, I don't know, have
Get
their
the salad tossed, I guess. In some people's opinion, the waffle might not be so awful.
Oh, that's true.